Next up in our series of Women in WordPress is Maddy Osman. Hi, Maddy. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's actually spring here today. It will be winter again. It is Rochester, New York, and it is the beginning of March or mid-March.
Fair.
But it's 60 degrees today, so like I have no complaints.
It's a nice break at least.
It is for sure, for sure. It's false spring, I think. But yeah, but I mean, I know you well. I've known you for years. I actually couldn't even tell you how we met because we've known each other that long.
I
But
couldn't either.
right? But for people who aren't aware of who you are or maybe want to get to know you better, tell us where you're located in the world and what you do with WordPress.
Absolutely. So I'm in Lakewood, Colorado, which is real close to Denver. And my sort of place in the WordPress community has been as a WordCamp organizer in Denver, as a speaker, as an attendee, and sponsor of WordCamps, and also just somebody who uses the software for my projects and the occasional client project.
Yeah, and you are also an author, and I mean, you're quite an extensive author as far as blog posts goes, but you've also written a book or two, right?
I have, yes. So if Zoom will let me, I'll show it. Okay, there it
Yep.
is.
Oh, it disappeared.
What?
No, humans and
There.
robots. Awesome. Yeah, I
Yep.
love that. And I love that you have it at the ready. Mine is the book I wrote is like way over there. I couldn't just grab it, but I think
Oh,
I
you
just
got to
learned
put it
something.
right next to your desk. And
I
it's
just
always
learned
ready.
something new from you. That's right. I will do that right after we're done recording.
Perfect.
I love it. And I mean, obviously, you and I met through WordPress, and we've been at so many different events together. And you are
Yes.
quite an accomplished speaker as well as writer. And I love how you just really encourage other people to lean into not only WordPress, but their own strengths within the WordPress ecosystem.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
important.
It really is. And the webinars that you've done and things like that to really teach people about blogging and writing, I think is phenomenal. So you obviously do a lot of blogging. I think you do some white label stuff with your company. You probably
Mhm.
have your name on a bunch of different things as well, but you're also happy to teach other people what the best practices are in blogging too. So if you had to say one or two quick pieces of advice as far as
Sure.
helping people like work on their blog or make their blog better, what would those be?
I think the first thing is to just get started. I started a blog before I like really went into marketing as a career, just to really test out like different digital marketing strategies, to have an outlet for writing and creativity. And it was really just the act of doing that for myself that really gave me the confidence and the experience to then do it as more of like my professional career. So I would say if you're looking to get experience, whether that's just from like the WordPress design aspect or it's from like the writing and creativity side, that's what I did. It's worked out pretty well for me so far. And then I think the other thing that you brought up that I want to share in a different way is that mentorship makes the world go round. And
Mm,
so whenever I'm creating new content for myself or for a client or whatever, I'm always thinking about that end reader and like giving them something that actually answers their questions, that actually satisfies, their curiosity. And so do that in your creative work. Think about the end consumer if you're creating something that's not just for you, but then also, in sort of like your wider world, I'm sure that, we've all had mentors in our lives who have helped us without, expecting anything in return. And I think it's important to
mhm.
make that come full circle and you also be a mentor because there's always people at different stages in, their careers or whatever. And you might not think that you have maybe like all the answers and you don't need to. You just need to be like one step above the person who needs help.
That's right. Absolutely. I think that's so important. And I learned that at the happiness bars that they have at WordCamps is like, I was afraid to sit there because I don't know everything. But the first time I sat there, I was able to help
Mhm.
somebody because I knew a little bit more than they did about whatever it was they needed
Right.
help with. And that's exactly
Yep.
what you're talking about, which I think is fantastic. Well, for women who
100%.
are either starting a career in WordPress and tech or thinking about it, what advice would you offer them? Obviously, the mentorship part of it, but what else would you have?
Um, I think it's like just don't be afraid to like get your hands dirty and just like try different things, both in terms of just like the technologies that you're playing around with, especially right now with all this sort of like AI world. And I'll caveat that by saying it's easy to get overwhelmed by like all the different, paths you could go down, but just play and you'll discover things that you maybe didn't know about yourself and the things that, you're really most interested in and passionate in by just playing. Um, and then the other side of things is to not be scared of like the business side, the admin, the bookkeeping, the sales, whatever, but seek out resources and mentors who can help you with any areas that you're not strong in. Because if you do want to run a business, you can't ignore them. But there are a lot of resources out there to help up to and including just, fully delegating or outsourcing those tasks.
Yeah, I was very heavily into outsourcing those tasks because I was terrible about asking people for money. So having somebody
Yeah.
else send my billing for me was like, shoo, took the whole load off of my shoulders of doing that and allowed me to continue with the creative side of things, which is where I really
Right.
excelled. Yeah,
Yeah, your sphere of
absolutely.
genius and hire anybody outside of that, basically.
Absolutely. Great advice. Phenomenal. All right, hold your book up one more time and tell people where they can
Yeah.
find it.
All right, so
Writing for
you can
Humans
check
and
out
Robots.
Writing for Humans and Robots on writingforhumansandrobots.com, or you can find it on Amazon as either a Kindle or print edition. And it's also a LinkedIn Learning course now.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Maddie, for sharing today a little bit of your journey and letting us tell a bit of your story and encouraging other women and other people in what they can do with WordPress. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you likewise for all those things.
Thanks.